Okay, my friends, we're gonna do a short review, like a quick recap. We're gonna do it like the 5 things you need to know about the new patch, 7.30. It just came out this morning, so bear in mind, obviously the patch is only a few hours old, so of course I haven't figured out everything yet. But in terms of the most important changes that we have to go over, or the ones that you guys need to know, if maybe you don't want to watch a 16-hour purge a 16-hour purge review of how to play Dota or how to sign up for Tinder. I think first of all, what's very important in this patch are the item changes and the game changes. As you can see, there's some item stuff, but to be fair, a lot of it is pretty mediocre. Apart from like the biggest ones you need to know is the Helm of Overlord is really strong. It builds out of Helm of Dominator Vlad, so like any summon hero like Beastmaster Lycan, they're gonna want to pick up this item. Mage Slayer has been reworked. It's built out of Oblivion Staff, Cloak, and a recipe, so it's less expensive. Also, if you look at the stats, you get 5 more magic resist than the Cloak gives you. You get more damage and more attack speed than what the Oblivion Staff gives you, and also Mana Regen is included in this item. Mana Regen is pretty hard to get in this patch because another thing that did happen in this iteration of the patch is that the overall Mana Regen has like been somewhat removed from, like some items. There's, like Yule Scepter is a bit worse, Bottle gives you less, and there aren't that many items that you really want on the carry roll that give you mana. Usually that would be like some Echo Saber or something like that, but now you have Mage Slayer, which is arguably on some heroes a better item. You can also split Echo Saber into Mage Slayer, so that is pretty great. Another thing to note is that a lot of heroes had their health or strength talents removed, which means I think in the mid game right now, there's gonna be more heroes that have like less sort of HP. As we said, mana regen talents were removed. We have cooldown reduction talents that were removed, and also cooldown percentage reduction no longer stacks. So there's a few heroes that were hit pretty hard by that one, such as Puck and so on. Point 2, I would say what's important to know is that there are no map changes in this patch. Surprisingly, no map changes. There are no real new items. There's only some reworked stuff and some different neutral type items that I'm gonna go into real quick. Stacking is still the same. It's still very strong for a lot of heroes. They didn't change anything when it comes to that. So let's go into the neutral items real quick because, as I said, there's a few that were, as you see, there's a few that were removed. Fatal Brooch, Armwood Tree, Imclaw, Illusion Escape, these, which are kind of all boring items. And now you have a few new ones. Pig Pole, which is like, some stats. It makes you faster, turns you into a pig. This one is like a mini jump. You jump 300 units forward. This item is pretty boring. You have some grenade that gives you vision, a new neutral item that disarms people when they attack you. You have this cape that gives you status resistance when you get hit. You have this item that the higher mana pool the enemies have, the more damage you deal. Some super broken items, some Arcanist armor, which gives you like 10 armor, 40% magic resistance, and it's in an aura. So that is pretty damn strong for your teammates and for yourself. But I would say that's enough for those changes. And now we can go into the hero changes, because there's some really big winners and some really big noobs. So I'm gonna try to go over the biggest ones. These are all kind of whatever. Anti-Mage Aghanim's is pretty cool. We'll have to see how that develops. If you've watched my stream, I like offline Anti-Mage. Bounty Hunter is a super big winner. He's had a lot of different changes. His Shuriken Toss is way lower cooldown. It does deal less damage, but it's lower cooldown, higher range, less mana. You get a crit from track, so that one is really good. Of course, you have your Beastmaster and Lycan, who are going to be really good because of this new item with the Helm of the Overlord, so we can't really forget that. Klings was reworked yet again. Broodmother was slightly nerfed and slightly reworked with the Scepter. The rest is still the same. The hero still has spiders and all this type of shit. The Axe Shard is kind of funny because I can show it to you guys real quick. If you have the shard and you proc spin on the enemy, they basically deal 0% damage after you've procced it 5 times. So if you're playing Axe against a Phantom Assassin or some shit and you proc this item, the PA will basically not deal any damage to you. Boom, because what this does is every time you proc counter Helix, they get minus 20% attack damage. But this is their entire damage, like even if they have some Divine Rapier. So this looks pretty funny. But if you jump him and attack him like this, and now if I proc, it's hard to proc spin when you don't have it. So once I proc spin, like now, look, this guy with Divine Rapier, once I spin one more time, he has 5 stacks, he has 0 damage. This PA can't do anything. Even though he has a Divine Rapier, he has 0 damage. He can't even crit. So this shard is pretty good. We'll probably see it in play a little bit. What else do we have? Phases Void support. Don't get mad or angry when you see some of your friends play Phases Void support or as a utility in the offlane, because the hero was changed a lot and like there's a lot about time dilation and time walk. So I think that's something you guys should keep in mind. Monkey King is one of the other big winners in my opinion. One of the next heroes, that's kind of worth talking about. He has like a new cool shard with Mischief. He has a better Jingu, a better Tree Dance. We have two supports that, in my opinion, were buffed a lot, which is Bane and Lich. If we have a quick look at Bane, I think you have like some Brain Sap. Nightmare deals more damage. Fiend's Grip, has a cast point. Lich has like a stronger Q and E. I'm gonna skip it real quick. It's not that important. But we also have a few heroes that were insanely nerfed. Like insane. And one of my favorite heroes even, who was hit like that, I'm gonna show it to you in a moment, like Timbersaw is, I think, probably the hero who was nerfed the hardest in this patch, not like your Luna or your Medusa. Like Medusa was barely touched in this patch. So if you see Timber, it's a big no-no. Queen of Pain is very strong. I think Pudge is quite a lot stronger too. Hook kills creeps. Pango now slows on Shield Crash instead of his passive with Swashbuckle. Like that doesn't work anymore. Pango always gets reworked, so his slow is in the W. His passive only does minus armor and disarm now. Tinker is a super weird hero now. Like if you want to implement like 10 minutes into your day to read through this page, then be my guest, but basically Tinker isn't as toxic. Maybe he is in a different way, but he doesn't have his march and shit anymore, so that's great. And then Tusk and Warlock have like super cool shards. Like Tusk has a shard that makes it a lot longer, more wide. It's gonna insta-kill waves. And Warlock can actually help with like Roshan and towers and shit like that. Other than that, kind of to top it off, I would say Weaver is another winner when it comes to the carries. Moving on, there isn't really too much. I would say point 4, if you guys care about competitive and what happens in the tournament games. If you guys care, they checked or they kind of like made it more balanced, because the way it was right now is that first pick was usually stronger than second pick because you would always respond to the picks. But as you can see here now, instead of the first pick team always responding as it here now, Radiant is first pick in this scenario, second pick team would pick, then we pick, so we get to respond. They pick again, we get to respond again. But now instead they changed it where they pick, now we have to pick both heroes, and now they top it off with picking their last one, which, can be pretty good. And then other than that, I think some things that you guys can maybe get ready for. So my last point is that you guys may get griefed in your games if a guy plays Pudge support, because this hero, he can go jungle now. If the guy is really stupid, he will go jungle with hook and, try to kill some creeps. So, don't be too surprised or too crazy if you do see this in your pubs. Even though it's maybe playable, maybe those guys will actually have more impact than if they go support. Other than that, in terms of how the meta goes, I don't really know yet. I don't really know where this patch is gonna go. I think if these heroes, like I said, will develop themselves nicely with this Helm of Overlord, then maybe some games will be faster, with your Beastmaster, your Lycan. But other than that, I think you might just still see the meta stay the same way with a lot of stacking with Medusa, Luna, Sven, because a lot of these heroes weren't really touched, which is weird. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this content or generally the videos, feel free to subscribe, feel free to hit the thumbs up. I know that a lot of you are not, but if you do enjoy it, it would help us a lot. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.